Okay, guys, now let's talk about our grammar lesson this week. So, WH questions. Can you try to guess what are WH questions? Well, basically, to start with, a question needs an answer. When I'm asking you something, that means I want to know an answer. So we're talking about specific kind of questions, which are called WH questions. From the word WH, you know that it's a word that starts with a WH. Can you try to remember what are the WH questions that you remember? Okay, let's refresh your memories. To start with, let's read what are WH questions. So we're going to talk about who, when, and why. So who? When do I use the word who? What am I asking about? I'm asking about a person. When I ask you who is your friend, that means I want to know the person that is your friend. Who is your English teacher? I want to know the name of your English teacher. So when I use who, I'm basically asking about a person. So the answer has to be a person. Like, for example, who is your friend? So for example, I tell you, my friend is Sarah, for example. When do I use when? Oh, I just said when do I use when? So basically, I use the word when to ask about, well done, to ask about time. So usually when we use the word when, I expect you to tell me a time. It doesn't have to be a time on the clock. It can be a date. It can be maybe a day, a specific week. For example, when I ask you, when is your birthday? When I ask you, when is your birthday, I expect to hear a specific date from you. Well, my birthday is on February 20th. Okay, so when do I ask the question why? I ask the question why when I want to know the reason behind something. I want to know why something happened. Like, for example, when I ask you, why are you late to class? I want to know the reason that held you back and made you come late to class. We also have the questions or the WH question words, where, what, and how. Can you try to guess when do I use the word where? Like, what do I want to know from the question that starts with where? Do I want to know time? Of course not. I know time by asking when. Do I want to know a person? Definitely not, because we already know that to ask about people, we ask with who. So when do I use where again? I use where to ask about a place. I want to know a place. Like, for example, where is the school canteen? Let's say I'm new to the school. I don't know how to get to the school canteen. So I ask one of my friends, where is it? And I expect the person to reply back by telling me the location of where the school canteen is. What about the word what? This is a tricky word. Do you know when do we use what? Who can think of something? Well, I use what to ask about absolutely anything. You can ask about what are you doing? I want to know the thing that you're doing. What is the time now? I can still ask about time. What made you cry? Reason. So with the word what, I can ask so many questions with the word what. Like, for example, what is your name? I expect you to reply me with an answer telling me what is your name. But make sure when you're answering your WH questions, make sure that you have a full answer. When I ask you what is your name, don't just tell me Christina. I expect you to tell me my name is Christina, because that makes a full answer. But just Christina is an incomplete answer.
شوف الحلقة كاملة من خلال تطبيق مدرستنا بلس. مدرستنا مستقبل يبدأ الآن.